Friends, in this last video of this particular part, I am going to show you how to write test cases for CRUD operation. So here the CRUD operation we are performing is on category from our previous videos. So I've already added add category test. Now I'm going to implement the rest of the methods as well. So first of all, I'm going to modify the DAO to include all the CRUD related methods. So let us open our category DAO. Here we have already added that category. Now list of categories and get a single category. So let me quickly rearrange so that it is understand more better. So I've arranged it for getting a single category, list of category, and adding a category. Now I'm going to add methods to update a category and delete a category. So update and delete. So methods I've added in my category DAO. Now in my next part, I'm going to modify the DAO IMPL. So that is our next step to implement all these methods. So open our category DAO IMPL, and here I'm going to do control 1 and add the unimplemented methods. So once you click it, those methods will be added at the end, that is update and delete. Now with this, I'm going to remove our this static list that we have been using. So let us quickly remove this static list. Okay, and instead of categories, I'm going to return null, and I'm going to remove this enhance for loop as well. One more thing that I would like to do is make sure this @transactional that I'm using is at the class level, because every method in this category DAO repository will be running under a transaction that is managed by our Spring framework. Okay, so I've put the transactional at the class level instead of method level, because every method has to run on the transaction. Okay, so this is the changes that you need to do in our category DAO IMPL. You can organize your import by clicking Ctrl Shift O. Okay, so Ctrl Shift O is the shortcut, so import is organized. Now I'm going to write the test case to get a single category. Okay, so first I'm going to modify this get method. Here instead of returning null, I'm going to say return session factory dot get current session. We have our session factory auto-wire already from our previous videos. Get current session dot get the category class, and here argument we have to specify the unique ID that is able to fetch that record for that particular category. So we can send this ID, but the problem with this ID is it is primitive type, but it requires a reference type. So what I will do, we are going to wrap it around our wrapper class using integer dot value of that particular ID. So this particular method is for getting a single category. Getting single category based on ID. Okay, so I coded this method. Now we will write the test case. So first of all, I'm going to comment this because I don't want to use this test at category. I'm going to say @test public void test get category. I'm going to get that category by its ID. So I'm going to use category DAO dot get. Now the ID will be the number of that category. So let me open my already created table. So yeah, I'm going to get this third number category whose name is television. So let me put as 3. So we know that category is for television. I'm going to use our asset equals again. So let me copy it from here itself. So I'm going to say successfully fetched a single category from the table only when it matches with television, the category that we have along with its name. So get the name. If the category that we are fetching is having name same as television, it means we were able to successfully fetch that particular category. So once you have modified this test get category and I'm gonna right click, run as JUnit test. I'll open our JUnit test case. If it comes green, it means we are able to successfully fetch that particular category. Okay, so we were able to successfully fetch that category. Now, so we know we have this test get category method is working fine. So again, I'm gonna comment it. In the later part, I'm going to show you how to combine all this and write a single test method to perform your CRUD operation. So now, right now, I'm going individually. Later on, we'll combine everything together. So after this, we are going to write a test case to update a single category. Okay, so to update a single category, first we'll go to our category DLimpl, where we already have our update method. Okay, so in this, again, I'm going to use this try catch approach, and I'm copying it from our add category method. I'm gonna put it here as return true and false. Control Shift F to format your code. This is method is for updating a single category. Okay, so here instead of this persist method, you need to write the update method, and this update method is available in your session. So that's the only change that you need to do to update that particular category. Okay, now we need to test this whether we are successfully able to update that category or not. So I'm going to go to our test case. I'm going to write another test case. So I have copied it, and I'm gonna change the name from get category to update category. So first we know that this get method is successfully able to fetch that particular category. Now after this, I'm going to say now set the name to TV instead of television, because we know we have successfully fetched that television before. Now I'm going to set the name as TV, and I'm going to change the message successfully updated a single category in the table, and our update method is going to return a boolean value. So I'm going to write it as true, and I'm going to say category DAO dot update. Okay, what you need to update? You need to update the category that you have fetched in the previous. Okay, again I did a typo, so let me rectify it, and this is update. So here I'm fetching the category, setting the name as TV, and then I'm checking whether it is updating my category or not. So once this is done, you can right click on your category test case, run as JUnit test. You can open your JUnit dialog box and check whether we will get a green or not. Okay, so we got a green. So to again make sure that this television with that category ID 3 has been changed to TV or not, so I'm gonna run this query, and you can see this television has been changed to TV. So we know our update method is also working fine. Now we'll go to write a test case to delete a single category, and here deleting means only to update the category. Okay, and make it as false. So let us comment this out. So I commented test update category, and first we are going to modify our category DLimpl. If this delete has been called, I'm going to call this update category method only. So I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it here, format it properly, and update this category. But since I want to delete it, I will get that category here itself dot set active as false. So if I am setting active as false, I won't be fetching this particular category which I am updating here. I am only going to fetch the categories which are active, which is having the boolean value of true. So this will delete my category, because in most of the application you will see, you are not deleting the data that you have added, you are simply setting its flag as true or false, whether it should be allowed or not. So after setting it as active and false value, I'm going to update that category. So I will open my test case. Okay, again I'm going to copy it. Okay, and instead of setting name as TV, I'm going to say category DO fetch that TV. Okay, and successfully delete a single category, set the table, and instead of update method, I'm going to call the delete method and delete that particular category. Okay, so and instead of test update category, I'm going to give it name as test delete category. After doing this quick update, I'm gonna right click and say run as JUnit test. So let us check again. Okay, I got a green, and again if I do a run, and you can see is active is false. So it means I am gonna disable this category if the active is false. So now I'm going to quickly write a list where I'm going to fetch the categories. So as you can see from this particular table, we have 1, 2, and this ID with 4 is active right now. So 3 categories which are active and 1 category which is not active. That is the category number 3. So I'm going to fetch that list in my next step. So this is our 6th step of fetching the list. So I'm going to quickly go to a category DO IMPL. Okay, and here I'm going to write our method to return a list of category. So I'm going to first of all write a string select category, or you can say select active category, equal to, now here it is not going to be SQL, it is going to be Hibernate query language, that is HQL. So I'm going to say from the entity name. So the entity name remains the class name unless for some reason you are changing that entity name. It is not going to be your table name inside database, remember that, not the table name inside your database. It will always going to be your entity name, and if you're not specifying any name for your entity, that is here, it will always take the class name. So remember, in Hibernate query language it is going to be the entity name from category, okay, where active is equal to, and I'm going to pass a parameter here of active. So I've created this HQL inside select active category from category where active is equal to colon active. Okay, now I require a query. This query is from Hibernate query interface. Okay, so Control Shift O, it will ask which query I want. So I will take this org hibernate.query interface. Finish. Okay, and I'm going to use our session factory dot get current session. Okay, dot create query is the method that I'm going to use, and here the query is nothing but our select active category, and I'm going to close it. Okay, now why I use this query, because I need to set this parameter active. Okay, so I'm only fetching the list of category where it is active. So I'm going to say query dot set parameter. Okay, so the parameter name is active and the value that I want to pass is true. So the set parameter, the value itself is true. Okay, so I'm going to fetch the category which are active. Okay, and I'm going to return query dot get result list. So I'm going to return the list of category which are active. All that remains is to test whether we are getting that 3 list of categories. So I'm going to write that test case now. I'm going to comment this. I'm gonna again copy this method and paste it here. Remove this comment. So test the list category. Successfully fetched the list of categories from the table. Here, as we know from our list that there are 3 categories which are active, so I'm gonna test whether we are getting the expected result of 3, and from the method list, and I'm gonna remove that category. So I should get 3 categories from that particular list. Okay, so to all that remains is to test. I'm gonna do a right click and say run as JUnit test. And we'll open our JUnit dialog box. Okay, so we have an error that successfully fetched the list from the expected 3 but was okay. Let me check what has happened here. So if you get such type of an error, let us first open the console to check. Okay, we are getting this SQL. Okay, and from this JUnit itself, I'm gonna check. It is giving me ID as 1 for category, ID 2, and ID 4. We are not having ID 3. So why this problem is? So that problem is because I need to pass not this 3 but I need to pass something here. So let me check with using integer dot value of 3. Okay, let me get that object now, and now I'm going to test it once again. So because I know there are 3 lists only, run as JUnit test. Okay, successfully fetched the list of category. I got this, but was expected 3 but was category. Okay, the problem here is I got it. What was the problem? The problem was I am fetching a list of categories, so it is giving me the list of categories but not that size. So let me put it again back to 3 and get the size of list. A silly mistake from my end because I've been coding it here. So the size of list should be 3. Okay, so that's what I'm testing it here. So if I get 3, then it's fine. It means I'm able to successfully fetch the list. So that's how you're going to test a list, by using its size. Okay, so JUnit test, open the dialog box. Okay, so we got a green. Finally our list has been fetched successfully. So now I will show you how to integrate all this in a single test case. Okay, so for doing that, again I'm going to comment it out. Now here I'm going to show you how to write that test case. So I'm going to write here again @test public void test CRUD of category. This is the name I chose for writing our test CRUD category. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to write an add. So the add we are writing it here. So I'm gonna go it here. Okay, so I'm setting the name as laptop. That's fine. I'm gonna simply drop that table and recreate it once again, and let the category image be 1. Okay, and similarly we are going to copy this category, and I'm going to keep it as television, and the ID would be 2, and here also it would be television. So inside CRUD I am first writing the add operation. After writing the add operation, I am going to fetch the television category and update it to TV. So let me use our test update category here. So fetching and updating, both will come here. So get the category this time with 2 because we are adding it second and it will get an auto increment of 2. So fetching and renaming, or you can say updating the category. Next I'm going to delete the category. So the category is going to get deleted. So for that again I will go to our test method here where I'm deleting that category. I'm going to simply take this one. We already have a category from the previous one. Okay, so we'll get that category number 2 where we are updating it as well as we are making it as deactivating basically. So delete that category. Now after this I need to test that list. So I'm going to copy it. Now after deactivating the category, after adding the 2 categories, I will be remaining with only one list. Okay, so this is the changes I did. Now I will go to our database queries. Okay, I'm gonna take this create table query and I'm gonna drop that table which we have created before. Here I'm going to say drop table category first. So table has been dropped and I'm gonna create that table again. That's the benefit if you write SQL query. I'm gonna run it. So the table has been created again with no record inside that one. So let me show you category run. There are no records right now, so it will work like this based on our test case that we have written. So inside test case we have written, okay, first add 2 categories. The first one would be laptop, the second would be television. Then update that category to TV, delete that single category of TV and fetch that list. So the size of that list would be only 1. Okay, so let me test the entire CRUD. So till it get tested. Okay, so I got a green, so the CRUD operation is working perfectly fine. And if you check this using run, so you can see we have laptop, even the television got updated to TV and the is active is false. Okay, and now all it's left is to check your front end project whether we are getting that laptop category or not, because we don't have to modify anything in the front end project. Okay, so let me check our server whether it is running or not. So our server is already started and we'll check our http colon localhost 8080 / online shopping / So if we get that single category of laptop and not of TV, it means everything is working properly fine. Now it has thrown an error. That error is related unsatisfied dependency expressed to field category D. Exception is category O. Okay, it is saying there is no Hibernate session factory available. At least one bin which qualifies candidate dependency exception of session factory.